What's going on, guys? This is Jake at Mountain Yotas.
What's up? It's Eric from Mountain Yotas.
And today we're going to be talking about everything rock sliders. If you have been thinking about investing in some rock sliders for your rig, this video is for you. All right, so let's start super basic. In the context of Tacomas, Tundras, 4Runners, when you're putting rock sliders on your rig, what are they designed to do and to protect?
Yeah, so a rock slider bolts onto the frame and it protects that rocker panel that runs underneath the doors of your truck.
And so in the context of the rocker panel, why is that so important to protect? Because a lot of folks will say like rock sliders are the first thing you should do when it comes to protective gear. Like, why do you want to protect your rocker panel so much?
Anytime you're going off-road, you're potentially going to hit a rock or slide over an obstacle with that rocker panel, especially if you have a long wheelbase. So that rock slider protects that rocker panel, which essentially part of the whole entire body of the truck. So if you damage that, you have to replace the whole body, which is wildly expensive.
I feel like a good analogy would be like, it's kind of like the shell of the truck, and once it's cracked, it's very hard to get like fully molded again to be perfect.
Yeah, it's all, that whole body is all one piece, you know, like if you hit a door, if you damage a door, you can replace the door, but if you damage the shell of the truck, you got to replace the whole thing, which is wild.
Yeah, otherwise you're just going to have that dented or like beat up rocker panel for the rest of your time owning that truck.
Yeah.
All right, so as a follow-up question, and I know you guys probably get asked this a lot from beginners looking into their first mods, but I'm sure you can already guess what the answer is, but are rock sliders worth it?
1,000% worth it. I mean, the Tacoma, 4Runner, and Tundra are very capable vehicles right out of the box. So you can take them in crazy places where they shouldn't even really belong. And the one thing you're going to damage if you try to go over an obstacle that's too big or too much of a drop-off, you're going to hit that slider immediately.
And so we're talking rocks on the side of the trail, ledges, even like stumps that might be
trees,
on a tight turn.
Mm-hmm. Trees or anything, really. I mean, the trails here in Colorado are notoriously tight. So especially if you're in a Tundra, like it's a big truck, you're going to be squeezing through things. So you want that protection.
Got it. And so in the context of them being absolutely worth it, would you go on a limb to say that they could potentially be a first mod for most folks, especially who are looking to get more protective modifications to their rig?
Yeah, I mean, first mod for sure. We even had a customer come with us on our Moab trip last weekend, and he took his stock Tacoma up top of the World Trail, and he definitely hit his rocker panel, but he made it because the trucks are so capable right away, stock form.
Yeah, and to add to that, I've also hit my rocker panel, and literally the next week I came in to get rock sliders because I was not rolling the dice on dinking that or damaging it further than like the scrape and kind of like dent I had in it from that excursion. But definitely worth it. 100% one of the first protective mods you should look into if you're thinking about going off-road a lot. So I think it's pretty clear to see that rock sliders are obviously worth it, but let's talk about some benefits because we've already hit on that they're very beneficial for protecting the rocker panel of your rig, but there are also other benefits that come along with rock sliders. So can you add a few there?
Yeah, the first thing that comes to mind is that they can be used as a step to get to the top of your truck. Say you have a roof rack with some boxes up there with camping gear, you can easily use it to get up there.
So I feel like too, to add to this, if you're considering a step side versus a rock slider and you do a lot of wheeling, I feel like it's a no-brainer to go with the rock slider because you're not only getting a step, but you're also getting protection, and it just makes more sense, I feel like, for the off-road focused individual. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, a step side is typically made of really thin aluminum, and we like to call them damage enhancers, basically, because they're just going to push the step side into the truck and just rip it apart, opposed to protecting it like a rock slider would.
Gotcha. And then another benefit that you had brought up was they can also be useful for protecting you in certain accidents, right? You've had customers come in and explain how the rock slider helped protect them.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. You have a solid steel tube on the side of your truck protecting from any kind of impact. You know, it certainly isn't going to prevent the whole truck from being damaged, but it's going to help tremendously.
Yeah. And then to add to that, if you are mall crawling and Grandma Betty's getting out of her Prius swinging that door open, it can also serve as a protective mechanism there too, right?
Yeah, any door that swings open is going to hit that rock slider before it hits your door, so it's another huge benefit.
Big dub for the trucks over the Priuses.
Yeah.
But the final benefit that we were talking about too, outside of protecting the rocker panel, outside of protecting yourself in accidents, is that when it comes to off-road performance, they can actually be really useful when it comes to sliding over things, but then also taking on some tight turns, correct?
Yeah, especially if you get one with a kick out and you're going around a tight corner, it'll prevent your rear tire from getting hung up on like a tree or a big rock going around a really tight corner.
Gotcha. So you can basically slide on it and pop that wheel out.
Exactly.
So you don't get hung up.
Yep.
So when it comes to the types of sliders, this is a question that I personally had when I was looking into my sliders was, okay, should I go with the trail edition? Should I go with the step slider? Can we elaborate a little bit on which you should go with and kind of the differences between the two?
Yeah, so like a trail edition slider typically is angled up and hugs that rocker panel a lot more. It's like a 25 degree or a 12 degree. Every company has a different kind of degree and style. But they allow for more clearance when it is going over rocks and going around tight corners.
Got it. And I feel like, too, if you are somebody who likes the aesthetic of like a little bit of a tighter hug with your slider, that could also be
For sure.
another difference between the two. But now, when it comes to the step sliders, what are those when it comes to the differences between those and the trail?
Yeah, so a step edition is 0 degree. It goes straight out from the side and essentially gives you a bigger platform to step on and a little bit more protection. You have 2 to 3 more inches of side protection opposed to the trail edition.
Yeah, and for context, you can step 2 on the trail edition or the angled up rock sliders, but definitely easier on the step sliders. Now, another question is kick out versus no kick out. Why would somebody want to go with a kick out, and can we go over some of the differences there?
Yeah, so I kind of touched on this a little bit earlier with the kick out. Going around a tight corner, it'll slide your tire out opposed to getting hung up, basically. So
I feel like, would it be safe to say that if you are wheeling, especially on tighter trails, a kickout's probably kind of the no-brainer in that one?
for sure, yeah. We pretty much only sell kickouts here in Colorado.
All right, so before we wrap this video up, let's go ahead and cover some costs that come along with rock sliders. So for your average rock slider, what can you expect when it comes to the price range?
What we see is between $800 and upwards of $1,600, depending on company, design, how they're made, basically.
And that's typically brands that are a little bit more on the premium end, right?
Totally.
Because I've definitely seen some rock sliders that are a little bit cheaper, but I feel like if you're going to be investing in protective gear, you might as well get something that's pretty good and pretty proven.
Yeah, we like the mid-range up to the high end, basically.
Gotcha.
I mean, you get what you pay for, basically.
Gotcha. Do you have a couple of brands that you really like?
Yeah, we do a lot of Cali-raised LED sliders here. That's what you have on your truck. And then Westcott Designs is like the high-end premium.
Got you. And then when it comes to install time and cost of install, what can most folks expect at their local shops?
Yeah, so here at Mountain Yotas, we charge 2 hours of labor for a bolt-on slider, and that's $300.
Basically then, in the whole, you're going to be looking at anywhere from like $1,100 upwards to like 1.8 to 2,000, correct?
Yeah, right around there.
Not too bad to save yourself a big fix with a rocker panel.
Yeah, totally.
All right, y'all, that wraps up this video covering some rock slider basics. If you've been thinking about putting them on your truck, it is definitely not a bad idea to do so, especially if you're going off-road. Eric, thank you so much for all of the help and guidance in this one. If you have additional questions on rock sliders, drop a comment down below or reach out to Mountain Yotas, whichever you prefer. As always, y'all, we'll see you in the next one. Drop a like on the video.
Get sliders. You need them.